The Serengeti. It's a sun-scorched ocean of grass, a chessboard where life and death play out with nowhere to hide. Even the cheetah, that symbol of speed, finds its power subdued by a troop of baboons. And the lion, for all its strength, must sometimes bow to the warthog's surprising tenacity. Out here, survival is a constant calculation between hunter and hunted. The dry season has gripped the Serengeti. Most animals have sought shelter from the searing 32 degrees Celsius heat. But the cheetah, driven by a relentless hunger, can find no such escape. Hunger simply doesn't permit it to rest. I've read accounts of this endless pursuit, this need that overrides everything. It stays with you. And so the predator searches, finding what appears to be the ideal ambush site. Even the shimmering haze can't obscure the vision of a creature that can spot its prey from 5 kilometers away. Today, its target is a solitary warthog, a mere 50 meters distant. Thick paw pads and a digitigrade stance, walking on its toes, essentially, allow the cheetah to approach in near silence. The tall grass serves as a perfect screen, concealing its slender frame, making it a silent ghost, moving through the blinding sunlight. The gap closes to 30 meters. The cheetah has now entered its kill zone. Within this range, its legendary acceleration promises the highest chance of success, and the energy expenditure will be minimal. In a mere 3 seconds, the cheetah can reach a speed of 96 kilometers per hour. Its stride extends to 7 meters, thanks to that incredible flexible spine. It coils and uncoils like a spring, allowing the hind legs to reach far forward, propelling it onward. Semi-retractable claws dig deep into the ground like spikes, providing absolute traction. But the warthog is no easy target. Its speed is only half that of the cheetah, around 50 kilometers per hour. However, a low center of gravity allows it to corner sharply, continuously running in a frustrating zigzag pattern. The cheetah is forced to swing its 80-centimeter long tail to maintain balance, fighting to stay glued to its prey. And then, salvation appears for the warthog, an abandoned aardvark burrow. Most predators would surrender the moment the warthog retreats into such a burrow. But perhaps hunger has eclipsed the cheetah's instincts. It has won a high-stakes gamble. The greatest risk now stems from the warthog's 25 to 50 centimeter long tusks. When retreating into a burrow, the warthog rarely enters headfirst. Instead, they back their hindquarters in. The armored head and those sharp tusks face outward, acting as a solid line of defense. At this moment, the burrow becomes an impregnable fortress. Any cheetah or lion foolish enough to stick a paw or snout into that darkness faces a potentially fatal gore. Many inexperienced predators have suffered torn noses or permanent blindness when attempting to breach this door of death. The warthog's upper tusks curve upwards, acting as whetstones for the lower set. Every time the mouth closes, the tusks grind against each other, creating a continuous self-sharpening mechanism. The result is a set of daggers so sharp they can slice through flesh with a mere shake of the head. And in the worst-case scenario, when no burrow for shelter, the warthog chooses the most violent solution: counterattack. A mature male warthog can weigh up to 100 kilograms. When charging at nearly 50 kilometers per hour, that body generates terrifying kinetic energy. It is like a cannonball ramming straight into the enemy. For a slender cheetah, a bone-shattering impact is synonymous with a death sentence. But the warthog always prefers to avoid conflict with predators. They move silently through elephant grass that stands taller than their heads. The leader paves the way, its slender tail held upright at a 90-degree angle. The tuft of hair at the tip acts as a visual beacon for the others to follow. In this dense sea of grass, this signal helps the family maintain formation and prevents any member from getting separated. This discipline is a matter of survival, because in the Serengeti, danger comes not only from the lightning-fast sprints of the cheetah. Spanning over 30,000 square kilometres, this ecosystem shoulders the largest animal biomass on the planet. 4,000 lions and approximately 1,000 leopards continuously patrol to maintain order every single day. Within that intricate food web, warthogs are biological plows. Their habit of digging for roots helps aerate the arid soil, promoting grass regeneration. Conversely, the cheetah keeps prey populations in check, culling weak and diseased genes from the herd. They are two silent warriors, each contributing to the ecosystem in their own unique way. For the warthog, Seronera is paradise, the central heart of the Serengeti. Here, vegetation remains eternally green, nourished by underground rivers flowing year-round. But this paradise comes at a steep price. Seronera is also the capital of apex predators. It is the domain of the most powerful lion prides in Africa. The lion's hunt for a warthog is a test of endurance. In theory, the lion is faster than the warthog. The king of the savannah can execute bursts of speed, reaching 80 kilometers per hour. But their hearts are too small relative to their body size, and their dense muscle mass generates immense heat. As a result, they can only sprint for about 200 meters. The warthog is not naturally a long-distance athlete of the Serengeti. However, its compact body and efficient respiratory system allow it to maintain high speeds over longer distances than the lion. The endurance of the weak has defeated the explosive power of the strong. Escaping the life-or-death chases, now is the time for the warthog to enjoy relaxation at the highest level. Near termite mounds or dense thickets, we encounter a scene that looks like it stepped right out of a Hollywood movie. A warthog lying flat, allowing a troop of banded mongooses to climb all over its body. This image immediately brings to mind the duo Timon and Pumbaa from the classic film The Lion King. However, in the Serengeti, this is a serious and fair biological transaction, because they live their lives in mud and burrows. The life of a warthog in the Serengeti is a constant negotiation with danger. I've often wondered how they manage to survive at all. It's a brutal existence where even moments of relief are fleeting. Consider this. After a long day, a warthog becomes a magnet for parasites. Ticks, fleas, and lice become invisible enemies, sucking blood and transmitting deadly diseases. Without help, their health would rapidly deteriorate. That's where the mongoose troop steps in. To them, the warthog's body is a mobile restaurant, serving a free, protein-rich buffet. They scour every fold of skin, the ears, and even the eyes, to pick it clean of ticks. This symbiotic relationship is so perfect that the warthog will fall into a trance-like state of immobility, allowing these tiny cleaners to do their work. But as those moments of relaxation fade, the brutal reality of survival instantly returns. In the bush not far away, the Serengeti's most silent predator lies in wait: the leopard. The warthog can't see the danger lurking nearby. The rosette patterns on the leopard's coat break up its outline, helping it dissolve into the dance of light and shadow. Eyes 7 times sharper than a human's are locked tight onto the victim's jugular vein. And when the gap closes to less than 5 meters, violence erupts. Unlike the cheetah, the leopard's body is a mass of fast twitch muscle. They prioritize lightning-fast strikes to finish prey rather than engaging in long-distance chases. The hunt has ended, but the leopard's meal cannot yet begin. Like the cheetah, the leopard does not fear the warthog's earthen burrows. To them, these represent meals that require no energy to chase down. The leopard's collarbones are partially reduced, floating clavicles allowing them to compress their shoulders and slither into the tightest spaces. But even after seeking out the most secluded, hidden spot to enjoy its meal, it is not safe. This is the moment nature's harshest law is enforced. The strong take what they want. The leopard is lucky to have escaped the claws of the king of the savannah. He certainly regret over the unfinished meal, but the leopard is unwilling to risk its life. It knows this is a fight it cannot win. A mature male leopard weighs only about 60 to 80 kg. Meanwhile, this male lion is a biological tank, weighing over 200 kg, nearly 3 times the weight of its opponent. The lion's bite force of 650 pounds per square inch can crush a rival's skull. The leopard is an agile and dexterous assassin, but in the game of brute strength, the lion dominates completely. Science calls this phenomenon kleptoparasitism. About 20% of the leopard's kills will fall into the hands of lions or hyenas. The lion stealing from smaller predators is a highly efficient, energy-saving strategy. The cheetah, however, is not overly concerned with that. On the southern plains of the Serengeti, lions only appear during the early months of the year following the migration. The flat terrain, devoid of trees for cover, is not ideal for the hunting style of the savanna kings. This is the largest natural death race track on Earth. On this open stage, the cheetah is the brightest star. It is here that female cheetahs hunt Thompson's gazelle daily. The press of hunger and of naive cubs waiting for food forces the predator into a state of hyperfocus. Every failure could mark the end for this solitary hunter. Statistics in the Serengeti are grim. Only 5% of cheetah cubs survive to adulthood. Every sprint is a life or death gamble it cannot afford to lose. The cheetah must approach openly, yet cautiously, but the coverless terrain makes the predator easy to spot. The hunt explodes the moment the gazelle detects danger and bolts. A formidable quarry. Today is a lucky day. The predator and her cubs will no longer be tormented by hunger. But the cheetah cannot return to her cubs just yet. Her body temperature continues to rise. Even 20 minutes after the hunt has concluded, she is forced to rest. The cheetah is at its most vulnerable moment, and the baboons know this well. They brazenly approach the cheetah. Their intent is clearly visible in their canines, longer than 5 centimeters, hand over the kill. Under the command of aggressive alpha males, the troop lays siege with methodical precision. The pounding on the ground, The savage screams and the glares of ravenous hunger form a brutal psychological assault designed to break the cheetah's will. The cheetah is utterly helpless against the ferocity of the baboon troop. The tragedy of evolutionary trade-offs becomes clearer than ever following that incredibly tense siege. To become the fastest creature on the planet, the cheetah had to sign a harsh contract with nature, sacrifice strength in exchange for speed. Its skeletal frame is slender and light as glass. To optimize aerodynamics, its claws are blunt, like track spikes to grip the ground. It possesses no weapons for close-quarters combat, and its body is fragile, more vulnerable than ever. The cheetah is entirely alone and forced to calculate for the future. A single leg injury could mark the end. It is nothing less than a death sentence for a hunter reliant on speed. Most importantly, the cheetah remembers her cubs hidden nearby. If the baboons discover them, they will show no mercy. It is a calculated move to eliminate future competitive predators. Confronting baboons has never been a wise choice. Solitude is a fatal weakness for the female cheetah, but that is not a concern for the males. They form coalitions to hunt together and defend their kills. A cheetah coalition consists of 2 to 3 males, usually brothers from the same litter. Unity allows them to target larger and more dangerous prey. This blue wildebeest is a prime example. This is a high-risk physical gamble. An adult wildebeest weighs up to 250 kilon, 5 times the weight of a single cheetah. It is a leather-armored tank with curved horns and razor-sharp hooves, capable of crushing the skull of any attacker. I find myself continually drawn to the Serengeti. It's a place where the popular image of a lone cheetah racing across the plains clashes with the reality of coalition hunts, where even a wildebeest can fall prey to their coordinated attacks. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is there some other land mammal, faster even than the cheetah, that we simply haven't discovered yet? The Serengeti is far more than just a lion's kingdom or a cheetah's racetrack. It's a brutal hierarchy, a crowded stage where every ecological niche is fiercely contested by highly specialized predators. These apex predators act as architects of population control, ensuring the ecosystem functions smoothly, as it has for millions of years. Forget those cartoon images of cowardly scavengers. In the Serengeti, the spotted hyena is a true hunting machine, defined by its terrifying jaws. Nature has gifted them with a massive dome-shaped skull, anchoring powerful jaw muscles that can exert a bite force of up to 1,100 pounds per square inch. That's stronger than both lions and leopards. They are, remarkably, the only mammal in Africa capable of crushing the long bones of a buffalo or giraffe. Their digestive system, filled with high concentrations of hydrochloric acid, allows them to break down bone, teeth, and even horn. After a hyena's meal, there's often nothing left behind. It's a common misconception that hyenas are mere thieves, but long-term studies have revealed a different story. Spotted hyenas hunt the vast majority of their food, somewhere between 70 and 95%. And unlike felines, which rely on short bursts of explosive energy, the spotted hyena possesses a massive heart, almost a full percent of its body weight. This allows them to maintain speeds of 60 kilometers per hour for distances of 5 to 10 kilometers, turning the hunt into a grueling game of endurance until their prey collapses. But what truly sets the spotted hyena apart in the Serengeti is its incredibly complex social structure, an absolute matriarchy. Female spotted hyenas, thanks to a surge of androgen hormones in the womb, are larger, more aggressive, and completely dominant over the males. Even the lowest-ranking female holds more authority than the highest-ranking male. Their society thrives on complex political alliances, demanding social intelligence on par with primates. Neuroscientists have discovered that the hyena's frontal cortex, the area responsible for reasoning and problem-solving, is highly developed. They know how to coordinate attacks, recognize individuals by their calls, and hold grudges across generations. And then, as darkness falls, you hear that manic laughter ringing out. It's not joy, not at all. That signature sound is an information coding system. The pitch and frequency of the laugh reveal an individual's age, social status, and psychological state. Usually, that giggling is a sign of extreme stress, or the manic excitement of fighting over food. These peak emotions often stem from the eternal war with lions, the deepest feud on the savannah, driven not just by food, but by the overlapping of ecological niches. Lions will even kill hyenas simply to eliminate the competition. Conversely, the spotted hyena is the only species that dares to mob the king of the grasslands, if they possess a numerical advantage of at least 4 to 1. A clan of hyenas is ready to rush in to steal a kill or even kill lionesses and cubs. This war between the spotted queen and the maned king is a bloody scale of power, keeping the Serengeti in a state of dramatic equilibrium. Lurking on the periphery of that war for the throne is the silent figure of the African wild dog. Sighting a pack of wild dogs in the Serengeti is a rare moment. They are large predators, currently classified as endangered, wandering like exiles in their own homeland. Their scientific name, Lycaon pictus, means painted wolf. Each individual wears a unique coat of chaotic black, gold, and white patches. No two wild dogs possess the exact same pattern, but don't let that colorful, abstract appearance deceive you. It's a disruptive camouflage design, helping them dissolve into the dappled light and shadow of the bush. They monitor their surroundings with massive, rounded ears that act as satellite dishes, receiving sound signals from afar, a masterpiece of evolutionary engineering. Noiseless they may be, but African wild dogs are the true assassins of the savannah. Lions hunt with a success rate of only about 25 to 30%. But the African wild dog succeeds up to 85% of the time. Once the pack decides to give chase, the prey's death warrant is practically signed. Discipline and endurance are the keys to their success. They enter the hunt at speeds of 60 kilometers per hour, and the entire formation maintains that velocity for an absurdly long time. They take turns leading. When one tires, another moves up to take its place, creating a relay running machine that never stops. The prey doesn't die from wounds, but from sheer exhaustion. And death comes very quickly. African wild dogs eat with impressive speed, taking only a few minutes to consume their prey, ensuring they finish before lions can arrive to steal it. However, The brutality shown during the hunt stands in stark contrast to the incredible tenderness of their social life. Within the pack, altruism is the supreme law. After a successful hunt, the adults will bring food back to the den, where the pups, the elderly, or the injured are waiting. No fighting over food. Pups are always given priority to eat first. Even a dog with a broken leg, unable to hunt, will be fed and nurtured by the pack. The tragedy of the African wild dog has always struck me. Their spirit, that glue that binds them, helps them survive the immense press of their environment. But their nomadic lifestyle, forced upon them by their small size, makes them unable to defend a fixed territory against lions or hyenas. Their only option is to keep moving, their home range spanning thousands of kilometers. Yet, the Serengeti is shrinking due to human encroachment and climate change. With nowhere left to run, these splendid ghosts are slowly fading. In that vast tapestry of the African wild, if you look closely into the tall grass, you'll find another tiny assassin, the serval. A small cat mounted on the legs of an antelope, it almost looks like a faulty assembly product of creation. But, in reality, this is a biological design optimized for hunting invisible prey. The serval possesses the longest legs relative to body size in the entire cat family. These legs act as biological stilts, elevating its body above the ground. They allow the serval to move lightly and peer over the dense elephant grass that other cats can't see through. And those two giant oval ears function like parabolic dishes, rotating independently 180 degrees, scanning the environment to pick up ultrasonic frequencies, sounds that the human ear can't even perceive. In the dense grass, vision is almost meaningless. The serval hunts by sound. They stand as still as statues, ears constantly rotating and adjusting. They're performing audio triangulation to pinpoint the exact location of a mouse moving under thick grass meters away. Once the target is locked, the serval executes its signature strike. It compresses its body and launches vertically into the air. This rainbow arc jump can reach a height of 2 to 3 meters before crashing down like an air-to-ground missile. The serval throws its entire body weight onto its front paws to deliver a stunning blow to the prey. The moment it hits the ground, the impact force is enough to kill or knock the rodent unconscious instantly, before it even realizes what's happened. The efficiency of this hunting machine is a shocking statistic. The serval achieves a kill rate of up to 50%. For every 2 attempts, one creature loses its life. This is the highest success rate among wildcats in Africa. However, competitive prez in the Serengeti has forced the serval to alter its behavior spectacularly. By instinct, cats are nocturnal. But here, the night belongs to brutal prides of lions and clans of hyenas. To avoid running into these bullies, the serval has shifted its biological clock to become a diurnal predator. They hunt while the lions sleep, exploiting a time slot to monopolize the food source. And that food source plays a vital role in the health of the savanna. Each serval consumes thousands of mice and rodents every year. Without this pest control squad, the rodent population would explode, devastating grass roots and seeds. The Serengeti would risk losing the green in its ecological portrait. In a world of giants, small creatures like the serval need one of 2 things to survive: invisible speed or insane recklessness. The black-backed jackal chooses the second option. Don't let their modest size deceive you. These are not passive scavengers waiting on the sidelines of the feast. They are the most audacious street robbers of the Serengeti. They are the ones daring enough to challenge death to snatch morsels of meat right from the mouth of the Lion King. This behavior is known as active kleptoparasitism. When a pride of lions is tearing into a kill, the black-backed jackal doesn't flee. On the contrary, they rush in with terrifying aggression. This is a display of cold calculation and nerves of steel. They operate in pairs or small groups, using a methodical diversionary tactic. One will run around barking loudly, and even nipping at the lion's tail or hind legs to draw attention. When the lion turns to growl in fury, the second jackal flashes in like lightning, grabs a chunk of meat, and vanishes into the bush. It's a dance with death that the black-backed jackal has memorized every step of. The distance between a full belly and a neck-snapping slap from a lion is meed in millimeters. But the black-backed jackal rarely loses. They are too fast, too agile, and understand the psychology of their larger predators too well. However, the aggression on the battlefield hides a model family life that is rare in the animal kingdom. Black-backed jackals are faithful romantics. They practice lifelong monogamy. A couple will defend territory together, hunt together, and grow old together. But the true miracle lies in how they raise their young. The black-backed jackal applies the helpers at the den strategy. When a new litter is born, the offspring from the previous litter choose to stay. They accept the sacrifice of their own breeding opportunities for a year to help their parents raise their younger siblings. The Serengeti is a hotbed of disease. Distemper and rabies frequently sweep across the savannah like storms of death. These outbreaks have wiped out entire packs of African wild dogs and lions, but not the black-backed jackal. Their bodies possess an incredible natural resistance. They survive pandemics that kill their larger competitors. They are the ultimate survivors, tenacious creatures. The Nile crocodile. It's a creature that has existed since the time of the dinosaurs. And in all that time, it has hardly needed to change its biological design. When I think about that kind of staying power, it fills me with a strange sort of awe. If the Serengeti is a battlefield, then the Grumeti and Mara rivers are deadly gauntlets, and hidden beneath those murky waters lies this patient predator. When the dry season arrives and the rivers recede, the Nile crocodile withdraws, slowing its heart rate to the absolute minimum. I've read that they can hold their breath underwater for up to 2 hours in an active state, and up to 8 hours while resting. They transform into inanimate logs, awaiting the biggest event of the year, the Great Migration, when millions of wildebeest and zebras are forced to cross the river. That's when the Nile crocodile strikes. The Nile crocodile's snap is a masterpiece of hydraulics. Their jaws generate a bite force of up to 5,000 pounds per square inch, 5 times stronger than a hyena, and 8 times stronger than a lion. That bite force is equivalent to dropping a small truck onto the prey's body. Once those conical teeth lock tight, nothing can escape. But because crocodile teeth lack cutting or chewing functions, they must tear flesh using pure physics. This is where the death roll appears. The crocodile clamps down on the prey and rolls its body along the longitudinal axis at dizzying speeds. The terrifying torque allows them to easily dismember the prey. It is a horrifying spectacle, but the only effective feeding method for them. After swallowing massive chunks of meat, the Nile crocodile activates another secret weapon, the superacid digestive system. Their stomachs secrete acid with a record low pH, strong enough to dissolve not just meat, but bone, horn, hooves, and even steel. This mechanism allows them to absorb 100% of nutrients from the prey, helping them survive for months without food. However, the life of this cold-blooded creature depends entirely on the sun. On scorching Serengeti afternoons, you will see these monsters lying on the riverbank with mouths gaping wide. This behavior is called gaping. This menacing-looking action is actually how they cool down. The Nile crocodile has no sweat glands. By opening their mouths, they allow heat to escape through the moist mucous membranes, like a heat exhaust vent. Thanks to this, their brains are not cooked under the 40 degrees Celsius heat. But perhaps the biggest surprise about this cold-blooded assassin lies in the mother's heart. The Nile crocodile is one of the rare reptiles to exhibit profound maternal love. After laying eggs in sand pits along the river, the mother will fast and guard the nest for 3 full months. She resolutely protects her unborn brood against egg thieves like monitor lizards or baboons. When the eggs hatch, the mother's jaws, with their terrifying bite force, become surprisingly gentle. She uses those very jaws to gently scoop up each tiny hatchling and release them safely into the water. The tenderness of this monster is a beautiful paradox. It is a reminder that in the wild, brutality and love always walk side by side to sustain life. The ecological tapestry of the Serengeti is not woven by predators alone. The landscape continuously reshaped by the impact of giant grazing machines. We call them the architects. Without them, the Serengeti ecosystem we know today would collapse, vanishing beneath impenetrable thorny thickets. The African bush elephant is one of them. They survive in the Serengeti without the need for fangs or claws. Standing 4 meters tall and weighing up to 6 tons, they are massive living walls. Even the fiercest predators must tread carefully before such a colossal stature. The African bush elephant holds a critical role in the Serengeti ecosystem. Scientists call them a keystone species. If elephants were removed, the Serengeti would collapse. The reason is that they are brilliant landscape architects. To maintain that massive muscle mass, an adult elephant must consume up to 300 kilograms of vegetation daily. In the process of eating, they act as heavy demolition machines. They topple trees, snap large branches, and trample thickets. By preventing vegetation from growing too dense, the African bush elephant stops the savanna from turning into a closed forest. They tear open spaces, allowing sunlight to reach the ground so grass can grow. This is a precious food source for millions of antelopes and zebras. Without elephants, there would be no vast open plains for the cheetah to sprint. In the dry season, when rivers turn to dust, African bush elephants become hydraulic engineers. Using their tusks and dexterous trunks, they dig deep holes in dry riverbeds to seek out underground aquifers. These elephant wells are the only lifeline for the entire animal community. After the elephants finish drinking, lions, hyenas, and even small birds finally get a chance to access this precious water source. Anatomically, the African bush elephant possesses two unique evolutionary tools, the tusks and the flexible trunk. Tusks are actually elongated incisors that grow continuously throughout life. They are crowbars for digging roots, weapons for combat, and tools for stripping baobab bark. Meanwhile, the trunk is a marvel of biological engineering. With not a single bone, the trunk is composed of over 40,000 separate muscle fascicles. It is strong enough to lift a 300-kilogram tree trunk, yet the tip is delicate enough to pick up a tiny grass seed. However, physical strength is only half the story. The African bush elephant rules the Serengeti through wisdom and connection. Elephant society is a strict matriarchy. The herd is led by the oldest female, the matriarch. She is not the strongest, but she is the living library of the herd. The African bush elephant's brain has a massively developed temporal lobe where spatial memories are stored. The matriarch remembers the exact... I've always been struck by the profound memory of elephants. It's more than just remembering a path. It's a survival map etched into their minds over decades. During droughts, the matriarch's memory becomes the lifeline for her entire clan, guiding them to water and safety. It's a form of communication we can barely grasp. African bush elephants use infrasound, sounds with frequencies so low, below 20 Hz, that they travel for dozens of kilometers. These waves penetrate forests and hilly terrain. But the most fascinating part, to me, is that they also hear with their feet. The fatty pads beneath their feet contain sensitive receptors, allowing them to feel seismic vibrations from the ground. A herd can detect the footsteps of another, or sense danger from 10 kilometers away. It's like they're operating an underground internet. And beyond their physical senses, the African bush elephant possesses an emotional life as complex as our own. They understand grief. When they pass the bones of a deceased relative, the entire herd stops. They gently touch the skull and tusks with their trunks, silent and solemn. In the wild Serengeti, the elephant truly embodies memory, wisdom, and, I believe, the very soul of that continent. Now let's move from the giants of the land to the masters of the river. The retina pool in Seronera, from a distance, looks like a pile of giant grey boulders resting silently in the muddy river. But as you get closer, the overpowering stench and low guttural growls reveal the truth. Hundreds of hippos packed together, creating what's known as hippo soup. The hippopotamus is one of the most misunderstood creatures in the natural world. They look rotund, slow, and somewhat comical, but they are, in reality, the most aggressive amphibious tanks on the continent. Hippos can't swim, despite spending most of their lives in the water. Their bones are solid, causing them to sink immediately. Instead, they gallop along the riverbed, moving like astronauts in a low-gravity environment, using the water's buoyancy to execute graceful bounds, despite weighing up to 3 tons. Their dependence on water stems from their sensitive skin. Under the scorching ultraviolet rays of the Serengeti, hippo skin would crack and dehydrate in minutes. To cope, nature has equipped them with a unique natural sunscreen. You'll see red, blood-like droplets oozing from their skin. This is blood sweat, a mucus secretion containing two types of acidic pigments. One is hyposudoric acid, which acts as both a sunscreen that absorbs UV rays and a powerful natural antiseptic, protecting the hippo from infection in murky waters teeming with bacteria. But the real danger of the hippo lies not in its skin, but in its mouth. At Retina Pool, you often see hippos opening their mouths as wide as possible. That's the threat yawn. A hippo can open its jaws to 150 degrees, displaying a lethal arsenal of lower canines up to 50 centimeters long, sharp as razors and hard as ivory. It's a final warning. If ignored, the hippo will attack with a bite force nearing 2,000 pounds per square inch. They can snap a crocodile in two or crush a small boat. They are the deadliest large mammal in Africa. The hippo of the day and the hippo of the night seem to be two different creatures. By day, they are social beings, gathering in the water to cool off and conserve energy. But when the sun sets, the hippo leaves the water, becoming a solitary and sullen creature. In the dark, they follow familiar paths, known as hippo highways, to graze. A single hippo can walk 10 kilometers and consume 40 kilos of grass every night. Their role as ecological engineers lies in nutrient transport. They graze on land and defecate in the water. Tons of this organic matter nourish the aquatic ecosystem, feeding fish and insects, thereby sustaining the life of the entire river. And finally, their relationship with their neighbour, the Nile crocodile, is a tense peace treaty. You often see crocodiles sunbathing right on the backs of hippos. That is respect rooted in fear. The crocodile knows its limits. An adult crocodile may be the king of the river, but against a furious male hippo defending his territory, the crocodile is merely a brittle twig. In these waters, size and madness are the law, and the hippo is the supreme judge. Now, imagine the Serengeti as a colossal living organism. In that context, the wildebeest is the hot blood flowing ceaselessly through its veins. They are the heartbeat that shapes the rhythm of the entire ecosystem. With an overwhelming population of up to 1.5 million individuals, wildebeest constitute the largest animal biomass on the savanna. Viewed from above, their migrating army looks like a river of black ink surging through a sea of golden grass, an unstoppable force of nature. Their first and most crucial role is that of biological lawnmowers. Wildebeest possess broad muzzles, specially designed to graze on the short, nutritious young grass close to the ground. Every day, this army consumes over 4,000 tons of grass. This large-scale grazing stimulates the grass to grow back faster and stronger. Simultaneously, they deposit about 500 tons of dung daily, a massive amount of fertilizer that helps regenerate nutrients for the arid soil. Without the wildebeest, the Serengeti grasslands would become overgrown, dry out, and become prone to fires, shattering the food chain at its roots. But the true miracle of this odd-looking creature lies in its swarm intelligence. The wildebeest has no leader. No alpha gives the orders. Instead, they operate as a superorganism. Every movement, every decision, is based on crowd consensus and the instinct to seek rain. They are capable of smelling moisture and phosphorus in young grass from 50 kilometers away. When one starts running toward the rain, millions follow. This chaotic movement is, in reality, a perfect survival algorithm. In a crowd of millions, the probability of an individual being eaten by a lion drops to the absolute minimum. and their ultimate, I find myself constantly drawn to the synchronized birthing of the wildebeest every February. It's a mathematical miracle played out on the mineral-rich volcanic plains. Within 3 weeks, around 500,000 calves are born. That's something like 8,000 births a day. It's a strategy of predator saturation. Suddenly, the savannah is flooded with easy prey. Lions, leopards, hyenas, and wild dogs eat until they are bursting, but they simply can't consume such a colossal number of calves in such a short time. As a result, the majority of the new generation survives this most dangerous phase. These calves themselves are biological marvels, genetically programmed to flee from the moment of their birth. A newborn wildebeest can stand within 7 minutes. After 20, it can run with the herd. At a steady pace, the wildebeest is a winner in the game of evolution, transforming individual weakness into the immortal strength of the collective. They are the life source, the driving force, and the eternal soul of the Serengeti. If the wildebeest are the diligent workers, then the plains zebra are the courageous pioneers. They are always in the vanguard, charging into the tallest and densest grassy areas. This pathfinder role stems from the plains zebra's unique digestive system. Unlike the wildebeest, which require young grass, the zebra is a hindgut fermenter. Their stomachs are designed to process old, tough, and nutrient-poor grasses. They eat the rough, straw-like tops, clearing the surface layer to reveal the tender green shoots beneath. But their most striking identifying feature, the black and white striped coat, remains one of evolution's greatest mysteries. These stripes create a motion dazzle effect. When thousands of zebras move simultaneously, the black and white stripes blend together, creating a chaotic optical illusion. For the lion, a predator that relies on locking onto a single individual, this scene is like looking at a static-filled TV screen. They cannot distinguish head from tail, or where one animal ends and the next begins. The latest research in 2024 reinforces the hypothesis that zebra stripes are a shield against tsetse flies and blood-sucking horseflies. The light-reflecting structure of the stripes disrupts the insect's navigation systems, making it difficult for them to land. In an ecosystem rife with pathogens, this is the most advanced biological hazmat suit. Beneath that uniform exterior lies a tight and disciplined social structure. Plains zebras do not live in a disorganized mob. They live in harems consisting of a dominant male, several females, and their foals. When pursued by lions, the male often runs at the rear or breaks away to distract the enemy so his family can escape. Its weapon is the legendary rear kick. A zebra's kick can generate an impact force of nearly 3,000 pounds per square inch, strong enough to shatter a lion's jaw or break a hyena's ribs. The plains zebra's vigilance is evident even in sleep. Thanks to the stay apparatus mechanism in their legs, they can sleep standing up without expending energy to maintain muscle balance. This posture allows them to switch from sleep to a full sprint in a split second if an alarm sounds. And to optimize defense, the plains zebra has established a strategic alliance with the ostrich. This is a perfect fusion of senses. The zebra has extremely sensitive smell and hearing, but limited low-level vision. Conversely, the ostrich has large, keen eyes and a height advantage, acting as a mobile observation tower, but a poor sense of smell. When together, they form a comprehensive early warning radar system. If the ostrich starts running, the zebra follows without asking questions. If the zebra stops to sniff the wind and looks anxious, the ostrich immediately goes on high alert. This interspecies cooperation makes them the toughest targets for any predator seeking the element of surprise. In the Moru-Kopjes area, where ancient granite boulders rise like fortresses amidst a sea of grass, hides a living relic from the prehistoric era, a creature designed to endure, to fight, and to destroy. That is the black rhinoceros. A more accurate name describing its true biological function is the hooked lip rhinoceros. This pointed, flexible upper lip is a marvel of evolution. It acts like a prehensile finger, allowing the black rhinoceros to perform surgical operations on thorny bushes. Their favorite food is the whistling thorn. This plant is armed with 7-centimeter long thorns, hard as steel and sharp as hypodermic needles. Any other animal touching them would suffer a shredded mouth, but not the black rhinoceros. With lip skin as thick as rubber and precise muscle control, they deftly weave through the thorns. The goal is the nutritious young leaves. Sometimes they simply crush the thorns with their powerful grinding jaws. However, the most famous characteristic of the black rhinoceros is its legendary short temper. This is the most solitary, suspicious, and easily provoked animal in the Serengeti. A mature black rhinoceros weighs about 1.4 tons. It is a block of armored muscle. When it feels threatened, it does not run away. It seeks to eliminate the threat. From a standstill, this 1.4-ton tank can accelerate to 55 kilometers per hour. The kinetic energy it generates in a charge is equivalent to a small truck hitting a wall at high speed. Lions or buffalo standing in its path will be tossed aside or punctured by the front horn, made of solid keratin. This aggressive nature stems from the black rhinoceros's eyes. Their vision is only effective within 30 meters. To them, the visual world is a collection of blurry, threatening shapes. They cannot clearly distinguish whether the shadow ahead is a tree, a lion, or a vehicle. Therefore, they often launch a preemptive strike. Aggression is, in reality, a defense mechanism born of fear. To compensate for poor eyesight, the black rhinoceros's hearing and smell are incredibly acute. The black rhinoceros sees the world through smell. I find that incredible. They mark their territory with dung middens and urine, constructing a complex olfactory map. It's a world of borders, rivals, and potential mates all laid out in scent. In the Serengeti, the Moru-Kopjes are the last stronghold for these magnificent creatures. The rugged rocky terrain offers cover and water, helping them stay hidden from poachers. To me, the black rhinoceros is a symbol of ancient tenacity, a blind but powerful fighting machine reminding us that this land has no room for weakness. But if you want to talk about pure rage embodied, look no further than the African buffalo. Professional hunters call them the Black Death, or the Widowmaker. Their defining weapon is a massive set of horns, curved like two hooks. But the most terrifying feature is the boss. In mature males, the horn bases grow and fuse right on top of the head, forming a solid bone shield up to 30 centimeters thick. I read once that this natural helmet is so hard it can deflect a close-range rifle bullet, or a full-force slap from a lion without a scratch. When an African buffalo attacks, they use the boss like a sledgehammer to fracture the opponent's ribs. Then, the sharp tips of the horns hook and toss the opponent into the air. The society of the African buffalo in the Serengeti is divided into two opposing worlds. First, there are the breeding herds, which can number up to 500 or even 1,000 individuals. This is a mobile fortress, operated by crowd intelligence. Scientists have discovered their strange voting mechanism. When resting, adult females will lie facing the direction they want to go next. The direction receiving the most votes becomes the herd's path. This consensus helps them find the best pastures and safest water sources with astonishing accuracy. Then there's the group of outcasts, the dagger boys. These are old males, past their prime, defeated and expelled from the herd by younger rivals. No longer protected, they cluster in small groups of 3 or 4, wallowing in mud to cool off and treat parasites. But don't underestimate them. Dagger boys are the most dangerous individuals. They are ready to launch a preemptive strike against anything invading their personal space, be it a lion or a human. The African buffalo's ferocity is clearest in their mobbing tactic. They are the only herbivores in Africa that actively hunt down predators. When they hear the distress call of a calf caught by a lion, the herd doesn't flee. They counterattack. Hundreds of tons of meat and horn charge forward like a tsunami, surrounding the lions, cutting off escape routes, and driving the king of the savannah up a tree, or trampling them under hooves. In the Serengeti, lions kill buffalo for food, but buffalo kill lions out of hatred. I've heard that if you ever face a buffalo, you'll experience the stare. They stop eating, lift their heads, wet nostrils flaring to smell your fear. Black eyes look down the length of the nose, locked into you with cold contempt. They are calculating distance, assessing the threat, and weighing whether to turn you into part of the Serengeti dust. In that moment, you understand why no animal, including humans, wants to mess with the Black Death. Then there's the Maasai giraffe, towering at a height of 5.5 meters, equivalent to a 2-story building. They are the tallest animal on the planet, the living watchtowers of the Serengeti. You can distinguish them by their dark brown spots with jagged edges, resembling grape or oak leaves, a pattern distinctly different from the neat polygonal patches of their northern cousin, the reticulated giraffe. The Maasai giraffe's greatest physical challenge is pumping blood to a brain located 2.5 meters vertically above the heart. To achieve this, their heart is a supercharged engine, weighing up to 11 kilograms, with ventricular walls 8 centimeters thick. It must generate blood pressure 2.5 times higher than that of a human. However, when the Maasai giraffe lowers its head to drink, the gravity-driven blood pressure rushing to the brain is strong enough to burst blood vessels. To prevent this, their neck vein system contains a complex network of one-way valves and a structure called the rete mirabile. It acts as a shock absorber, controlling the flow and preventing death by brain hemorrhage. Every time they bend down to quench their thirst, Maasai giraffes are, in a way, arboreal surgeons. Their favorite food is the leaves of the acacia tree, a species protected by long, sharp thorns. The giraffe's harvesting tool is a tongue reaching up to 50 centimeters in length. This muscular tongue is as flexible as a finger and covered in a thick, glue-like saliva that coats the sharp thorns, helping them swallow without tearing their esophagus. I find it fascinating that this tongue is purple-black or blue-black. The Maasai giraffe spends 12 hours a day sticking its tongue out to eat under the scorching equatorial sun. So this dense concentration of melanin acts as a biological sunscreen, preventing UV rays from burning the soft tissue. But the life of a Maasai giraffe is not as peaceful as it looks. Males often engage in brutal battles called necking. Two males stand parallel, swinging their 2-meter-long necks like demolition cranes. The head, armed with rock-hard ossicones, is swung like a wrecking ball to strike the opponent's ribs. The force of these blows can fracture ribs, shatter jaws, or knock the opponent unconscious on the spot. The winner gains mating rights, and the loser leaves with injuries that may lead to death later. Even the birth of a Maasai giraffe begins with a traumatic shock. The mother gives birth in a standing position, which means the calf's very first moment in the world for a newborn giraffe. It's a free fall from 2 meters onto hard ground. It looks cruel, but that impact is necessary. It tears the amniotic sac, severs the umbilical cord, and shocks the lungs into taking their first breath. In the Serengeti, a calf must stand and run within 30 minutes. If not, it becomes a quick meal for lions or hyenas lurking nearby. With eyes the size of golf balls and 360-degree vision from a superior vantage point, the Maasai giraffe acts as an early warning system for the entire plain. When zebras or antelopes see the giraffe start to run, they know not to ask why. They simply follow. Trust in this living watchtower is one of the most fundamental rules of survival in the Serengeti. From the scattered rocky outcrops around the Mopane woodlands, a sound rings out. Loud and decisive, breaking the silence of early morning. It's the call of the Cape baboon, one of the largest, smartest, and most socially organized primates in southern Africa. They start their day with confidence and commotion, as if this land is their well-known domain, where every step has already been mapped out in their minds. In the Luangwa Valley, chacma baboons are commonly found around rocky highlands, forest edges, and buffer zones near the river. Adult males can weigh up to 40 kilograms and measure over 1.2 meters in length, nearly 3 times the average weight of a female. Their fur ranges from brownish grey to ash grey, sometimes with a thicker mane around the neck, helping them blend easily into the dusty red terrain, rocky outcrops, and short grasslands. They live in troops ranging from 20 to 80 individuals, led by a dominant male who takes on the role of guiding movement, offering protection, and maintaining order. This social structure is highly flexible, held together through behaviors like grooming, food sharing, and caring for the young. These strong social bonds not only help the troop stay united when faced with predators, but also foster a community with a remarkable capacity for learning and adaptation. As true omnivores, chacma baboons consume nearly anything digestible in their environment, from grasses, roots, fruits, and tender leaves to seeds, insects, bird eggs, and small animals like lizards, mice, and nestlings. Their flexibility in food choices is one of the key factors that allows them to thrive across a wide range of habitats, from open woodlands to semi-deserts, and even mountainous regions. In central Luangwa, They often track the seasonal changes of available resources, especially fruiting trees along the Luangwa River or near wetlands during the rainy season. When the dry season arrives, baboon troops retreat to higher ground areas with clear vantage points and rugged terrain that help them steer clear of predators like leopards. Though they are prey animals, Chacma baboons have been observed coordinating group responses for defense, especially when their young are under threat. Cape baboons use more than 30 distinct vocalizations, combined with facial expressions and body postures, to signal warnings, coordinate movement, or express emotion within the troop. Behavioral studies by the Wildlife Conservation Society during the 2023 to 2024 period confirmed that the body language of Chacma baboons can shift depending on social context, terrain, and the relationships between individuals in the group. Their communication abilities are considered among the most complex of any non-human primate species. This challenge becomes even more daunting in the modern era, as the Serengeti faces immense mounting press. The first and most devastating threat is climate change. The engine that drives life the rain, but that engine is beginning to falter. Meteorological data from 2020 to the present reveals that rainfall cycles are becoming chaotic and unpredictable. Droughts are lasting longer and becoming more intense. The Mara River is witnessing water levels drop to historic lows due to upstream deforestation and excessive evaporation. If the Mara River runs dry, the Great Migration will collapse. Millions of antelopes will die of thirst before reaching the green pastures, triggering the demise of the predators that depend on them. The second threat comes from human prey. Populations in the buffer zones surrounding the Serengeti have quadrupled in just a few decades. The encroachment of agriculture and livestock grazing is choking off ancient migration corridors. Human-wildlife conflict is reaching a boiling point. And in the shadows, another silent war is being waged. Snare poaching. With no noisy gunfire, poachers use thousands of wire snares fashioned from motorcycle brake cables. These are invisible assassins. According to reports from the Frankfurt Zoological Society, patrol teams remove thousands of these traps every year. These snares do not discriminate. From antelope and zebra to lions, leopards, and elephants, all can become victims, suffering a slow, agonizing death. The Serengeti is no longer an isolated island of creation. It is buckling under the weight of human development. However, the hope to save the Serengeti remains unbroken. The battle to protect the Serengeti has entered a high-tech era. Tanzania National Parks authorities are implementing unprecedented protection measures. Drones and surveillance camera systems are deployed to root out poaching camps deep within the bush. GPS tracking collars are fitted onto large animals like elephants, lions, and black rhinos. These allow scientists to monitor population movements in real time and intervene immediately if an animal enters a danger zone. The desnaring program is delivering tangible results. Thanks to international cooperation, specialized anti-snaring teams successfully rescue hundreds of animals each year, returning them to the wild. More importantly, conservation strategy is shifting towards the community. Ecotourism is becoming the Serengeti. It's more than just a park in Africa. It's a living testament to the earth in its primeval state, the only place where I feel I can still hear the wild heartbeat of this planet. It thunders through the hooves of millions of migrating creatures. I've learned that when a living lion brings economic value 100 times greater than the skin of a dead one, true conservation becomes sustainable. It's a transformation I've witnessed firsthand. Local people, once potential poachers, becoming the most ardent guardians of the land, because it becomes a primary source of income for them. Preserving the Serengeti, in the end, is about preserving the memory of humanity.